I'm going to discuss a matter that has really concerned us as Kenyans. The issue is to do with the abolishing of vetting for IDs in the northern frontier by President Ruto. Now, I will start like this. There's something called self interest. Politicians are guided by self interest. As humans, we are guided by self interest. So you look at a man who is overtaking. When you overtake, you create space for people who are driving in that lane to move forward. But you aren't doing for them. You're doing it because you're able to move faster on the next one. Self-interest, you look at a situation of a shopkeeper who opens very early. He doesn't do it so that he's providing bread and milk to the people who woke up to go to work, but rather to earn his daily bread early in the morning. And the people who buy from him aren't doing it so that they make sure that the shop doesn't close, but rather so that they are able to get that milk and that bread early in the morning and go to work in good time. Another case of self-interest that we look at is when a businessman decides to set up a butchery in your neighborhood. He doesn't do so because he thinks so that he is able to give you the meat you need, but rather he sees an opportunity to make an income out of that business and that investment. And for you who buys from that business and makes it not to collapse, doesn't do it to really so that the business can thrive, but you're doing it because you actually do need that meat. So those are cases where self-interest comes in, and where you realize that really, in general, there's something called laissez-faire. In general, every human does everything that we do. We do so that for our own self-interest, and the general public, or in general, everybody else is gaining, but really because we are all pursuing our self-interest. Now, self-interest has two forms, short-term and long-term. And another thing is in the satisfaction, to satisfy these self-interests, there is a cost. So every time we pick a path to satisfy an interest, we always weigh the costs. Now, having said that, we look at the consequences of the pronouncements of the president in Northern Frontier.
Leo nimesema ile vetting ambayo imesumbua wananchi wa Northern Kenya kwa miaka 60. Leo nimesema hiyo maneno ya vetting iondolewe, ndio vijana wote wa Kenya wapate vitambulisho vile wa Kenya wengine wanapata vitambulisho bila ya matatizo.
Who says that the vetting for IDs acquisition will be abolished. This is something that has happened for the 60 years. Why? Because the border between Somalia and Kenya is porous. And because, again, to be sincere, Somalia is unstable. And the kind of people who come could include Alshabab. So for all the years we've had presidents, they've tried to do a balancing act so that we don't end up denying our own northern frontier citizens identity cards. And that is why they put the vetting in place, because it is the only sure way of making sure, of ensuring that whoever gets the identification card and passport is actually a Kenyan. In the short run, Ruto wins. He is going to get 2 million votes people registered in Northern Frontier to give him the 2 million votes that he could need to balance off the loss of Central Kenya. He does need those 2 million votes, but that is the short-term interest well satisfied. But in the long, what is the actual cost in the long term? When politicians or when our president does such things, what is it that is within our hands? What is it we can do as citizens? So we cannot elect another president now, and we cannot go online and sing Kasongo and all that. He must go. We could demonstrate. We could make sure that he knows that this is not good and that the vetting should not be removed. Raila, like every one of us who pursues his self-interest, has an election for the AUC chairmanship. So he's not there. He's not going to rock the boat. So this is purely and solely upon us as Kenyans. As a wise man once put it, It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When will this consequence of the terrorism hit us if this particular directive is implemented?